Thank you, guys. All right, perfect. So, we're gonna focus today's class on humans and animals. Okay, so we can get things started. We'll go through firstly skeletons. Okay, so humans and animals both have skeletons made up of bones in their bodies. Now, does anybody know? And I'll get you, sorry, before I do this part, Sarwin and Loka, do you know how to use the raising hand function on Zoom?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Sarwin. Loka, do you know how to do that one?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. So when you guys know the answer, please raise your hand on Zoom and then I'll call out your name and then you can give me the answers, okay? So, does anyone know which of the following animals have an internal skeleton out of these four here? Loka?
Is cow, sir.
Cow, yes, perfect. That definitely has an internal skeleton. Sashwin?
And then is frog, sir. Cow and
Perfect.
frog.
Cow and frog, exactly right. So, as you guys know, and you've all answered correctly, the worm and the jellyfish don't have an internal skeleton because they don't have bones in their inside their body. Does anybody know which animal has an external skeleton? And there's a bit of a hint in the photo on the right. Cyrene, is that your hand up? No, took it out. Does anybody know which animals have an external skeleton? Ritisha, you want to give it a go?
Is it a millipede?
Yes, millipede, centipede, very similar. They both have external skeletons. So
Also like caterpillar, sir.
correct. So with an external skeleton, they're basically a covering on the outside, which as the animal grows, as they outgrow the skeleton, called an exoskeleton, the animal sheds and molts. And then as the old skeleton gets removed, a new one then grows. But that's the examples of those with an external skeleton. Now, interestingly, there's other animals that have both an internal and an external skeleton. Anyone have any ideas on what that animal is? Sasha?
I'm still thinking, sir.
Oh, sure. Sorry, I saw your hand up on the Zoom. Does anyone have any ideas on what could be both internal? So it has bones inside the body, and then it also has some sort of an exterior cover as well. Ritishan, yes.
Is it a frog?
Which one?
Frog.
Frog?
Yes, sir.
No, a frog has only an internal skeleton. Good guess, but you said frog, right? F-R-O-G?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, unfortunately, frog only internal rotation, no external one. But there's some animals that have both. So I'll give you guys an example of one, and that is a tortoise. So a tortoise, the shell of the tortoise is actually its external skeleton. And then it also, like a frog and a cow, has the internal skeleton as well. So that's one of the unique animals which has both. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Now, the human skeleton. For us, and other animals as well, the skeleton is basically the frame for the body, right? In humans, it sits inside our muscles and basically creates the structure for our being. Does anyone know how many bones make up the human skeleton? Loka?
Is 206.
Perfect. Exactly right. 206. Well done, Loka. Now, guys, I can see you all on camera. So can you show me anywhere on your body where you can actually feel parts of your skeleton? Yes, Ritishan, I can see your finger. Good one. Sashwin, yes, your collarbone. Loka and Prichika, any ideas?
Sir, in here.
Sashwin, sir. Sir, Sashwin.
Yes. Yes, Sashwin, good one on your head as well. Dinishan, I didn't see you. Can you feel anywhere on your body? Yes, your knee, that's part of the skeleton. Yep, just on your wrist as well. Perfect. What else do we have here? Sarwin?
I can feel it on my wrist.
Yes, perfect. Dinishan, yes, I can see you. Yep, perfect. Prichika, Loka, I still haven't seen your ones. Can you show me somewhere on your body, Prichika, where you can feel your bones or feel part of your skeleton?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes?
there is also another part.
Sir, I think
Also, this is
Okay, let's see who else, Loka. Sorry, I didn't grab your name. The person with the camera, Jay Satvika. What was your name?
my name is Satvika.
Satvika. Okay, perfect. Nice to meet you, Satvika. Can you show me somewhere on your body where you can feel part of your skeleton?
Sir, beside the jaw.
Yeah. Your jawline? Absolutely. Perfect. Thank you, everybody. That was good. Now, the skeletal system is made up of three main things. That is your bones, your muscles, and your joints. Does anybody know what a joint is? We covered bones and most of you know what a muscle is. Does anybody know what joints are? Ritishan, yes.
For example, I can see a joint here and the bending part of some parts, like
Yes.
my finger can bend and the joint of my finger, and my elbow can go bend, and the elbow is the bending of my arm.
Perfect, Ritishan. Exactly right. So the joints are the sockets in your skeletal system that allow movement. So it allows bending, changes in direction. Exactly right. Now, as our body... Sorry, Sarwin, yes?
as well. Our knee can join too.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Correct, Sarwin. Sashwin, I can see your hand up as well. No, finished. All good. Ritishan, if you can just remove your hand for me, mate, on Zoom. Thank you very much. Okay, so as our bodies grow, our bones and muscles also grow, right? So as you can imagine, as you get older, you get taller, you get bigger. So your bones and muscles work in line with that. The bigger the body gets, the reason for that is the bigger the internal frame needs to be to support the body. Now, in addition to actually supporting us, the skeleton facilitates movement and helps keep parts of our body safe. So as Ritishan was saying before, the joints help movement for different parts of your body in terms of turning and bending. And then also you have the rest of the body in terms of the skeleton, like your arms and legs, which also facilitate movement for you to make actions and do those things as well. There are some parts of the skeleton which also protect certain organs, and help with breathing. And we'll go through those ones in the next couple of slides. Now, we're going through this, so I'll skip that one for now. In terms of functions of the skeleton, guys, who knows? Can everybody point, to the skull?
What, sir?
If you can point for me with your hand to your skull. Ridhichan, yes, I can see you. Loka, I've got your hand up. Yes. Perfect. Yep, your skull. Sarwin, thank you. Sashwin, I can see you. Perfect. And everybody down the track. Okay, awesome. Well done, guys. Yes, it is. It's basically the thing that protects your brain and it sits just underneath your scalp there, okay? Now, the skull itself is essentially a strong box which protects the brain, right? So if you have a fall or you hit your head against something, the skull is what protects the brain and makes sure that it's not severely damaged should you have that hit. Now, here's another part, which is the spinal cord and parts that, I guess, protect the spinal cord as well. Does anyone know what the spinal cord is?
Yes, sir. It's behind our shoulder.
Sarwin, just your hand up on Zoom for me first, and then I'll call your name, okay? Perfect. Sarwin, yes, you want to say something?
Yes, sir. The spinal cord is down our shoulder.
Yes, in the middle of your shoulder, on the back, right in between the shoulders. Ritishan, you had something else to say as well?
In the middle of.
Yes.
In our here, sir.
Correct. Ritishan, did you have something as well, man?
It's in the back.
Yep, exactly right. Both Ritishan and Sarwan are correct. So it's down your back, in the middle of the shoulders, all the way down. It's actually continuation of the brain. So it runs from the top of your head, top of your neck and down. And it's enclosed in a column of bones. Now, does anyone know what the column of bones is called? Ritishan, I see your hand on Zoom. I'm not sure if that's from before. Sarwin, remember, Zoom, click it on Zoom for me first. Yep. Does anybody know what the column of bones is called? Sarwin, yes.
The spinal column.
So the spinal column is inside, and then there's a structure of bones that sort of protects the spinal column down the back of your body, right? So does anybody know? And there's a hint. It's actually written in this photo on the right-hand side. I'll show you guys. So that one is the vertebrae. It's this one here. Okay. So the vertebrae refers to all of the bones that protect that spinal cord. Okay. Now, the two parts together, so the spinal cord and the vertebrae together, are what make up the full spinal column. Now, here's another part of the human body. Does anybody know what the function of the ribs are?
Sir, I know.
Yes.
To protect our chest, sir. To protect
Very good.
Our...
Protects things in the chest area. Ritishan?
Yes, sir. To protect our heart.
Sarwin, hold on. I asked Ritishan. Give me 1 second. I'll come back to you, okay? Ritishan?
It's the same thing as I've been said.
Sorry, can you say that again for me? I couldn't hear you.
The same thing as Darwin said.
Yes, yep. Protects the chest. Now there's certain organs inside the chest area that it protects specifically. So which is the lungs and the heart specifically. So you can see in this diagram here, the lungs are here, and this one is the heart. The ribs are there protecting that entire cavity and that entire area. Sarwan, I can see your hand up. Do you have something to say?
No, sir.
Okay, no problem. Now, the ribs also have a second function, guys, which is it allows the chest to expand and contract, right? And by doing so, what that allows is for air to be squeezed both in and out of the lungs. So as you guys said, yes, it protects the chest area and vital organs like the lungs and the heart, but it also assists in basically our breathing, right? So allowing us to take in air and expel the air as well. Now, in some bones, there's something called red marrow. The red marrow makes new blood cells, right? Does anybody know what the 3 kinds of blood cells are in our body?
No, sir.
That's okay. We'll wait. I'll see if anybody else knows down the list. If you guys know the answer, please feel free to put your hand up on Zoom for me, okay?
I've gotten this somewhere, but I forgot.
Okay, yeah. That's okay. We'll get to it.
One looks like a triangle.
A triangle? Yeah. Rahul, nice to meet you, mate. Sorry, I didn't see you at the beginning of the class. Do you have any idea what the 3 kinds of blood cells are?
I don't know, sir.
That's okay, no problem. So one of these is the red blood cells, okay? Does anybody know what the red blood cells do or what their purpose is in the body? Ritishan, I see your hand up.
I have. Saswin has heard it before, sir. I studied this, but I
I know,
forget.
sir.
That's okay. Ritishan?
It actually is mixed with air and it flows over our body. And I know another blood cell, sir. It's the white blood cells.
Yep. So just before we move on to the white blood cell, Ritishan, you were exactly right with the red blood cell. So just to give a little bit more detail on that one, the red blood cell does facilitate the transfer of oxygen. So it essentially takes it from the lungs and moves it around to other parts of the body. And at the same time, it does a return trip. So it will take carbon dioxide back to the lungs, allowing that to be exhaled. So again, facilitating that breathe in and breathe out. Okay. Now, Ridishan, you mentioned the next type of blood cell, which is the white blood cells. Does anybody know what the white blood cells do? Ridishan, yes, I see your hand up again.
It protects us from diseases.
Exactly. Yes, perfect. So white blood cells are there specifically to fight infection in our bodies. Does anyone know, just on a high level, what it might be producing to fight the infection? Has anyone heard of the terms before? Has anyone heard of antibodies? No, that's okay. So antibodies are what the white blood cells produce, and that's what helps fight the infection when it does enter the body. Now, there's a third type of blood cell, guys, and does anyone want to take a guess as to what that one might be? No, no ideas.
Is it any blue? Is it any different color, sir?
Sashwin, give me 1 second, mate. So put your hand up on Zoom for me, okay? And then I'll call out your name. All right. Loka, I can see your hand up.
It's platelets.
Perfect. Exactly right. It's the platelets. Loka, do you know what the platelets are designed to do?
I don't know, sir.
That's okay, no problem. Does anybody know what platelets, what their role in the body is? Sashwin, I can see your hand up.
I put it in mistake, sir.
That's okay, no problem, no problem.
I was going to tell like Loka, but I didn't know the action.
That's okay, no problem. That's all right. We're here to learn. Anybody have any ideas? What could platelets do? So with platelets, their main function is to prevent and stop bleeding. So in the scenario that, you know, your body gets damaged, you get a cut or you get a bruise or something that causes damage to your body, the platelets essentially travel to that site where the bleeding has started, and they come together to form a clot. That blood clot then helps stop the constant flow, which then results in more bleeding. Okay, so just going over the three types of blood cells again. So the red ones, they carry oxygen. The white ones, they fight infection. And the platelets, they help to prevent and stop bleeding. Okay? Okay. So, the next one. Muscles and bones. Okay? Now, muscles without the bones won't be able to support our body or move it from place to place. So, remember we were talking about the skeletal system, and that there are three major parts. You've got your bones, your muscles, and your joints. Without the muscles, the bones wouldn't be able to support movement itself because they encase the muscles and keep them protected in that movement. Where the two bones meet is the joint. So as Ritishan was saying previously, that joint which facilitates rotations and movement, that's where the two bones meet. Now, in the joints itself, there are essentially two slippery surfaces, right, on either side of each of the bones, which then allow the movement from one to another, allowing it to basically move from one position to the other one. The bones within the joints are held together by something else called ligaments. The ligaments themselves are made of a strong elastic tissue. So if we have a look on the right-hand side here, that was quite a lot of information on the first page. So I'm just going to go through it in a little bit more detail. So as you can see here, guys, the shoulder and the arm here are meeting in this piece. So two different bones are meeting in one place. That's referred to as the joint. In this case, it's a shoulder joint. And then what you'll see inside the body is this part and this part are both naturally slippery surfaces, okay, which then facilitate the movement for the arm to move freely across and facilitate that movement. Now, to make sure that the bones are still connected in some way without being totally disconnected, that's where you have the tendons, which are these little ones here. These ones here. And they allow for the two parts of the body to basically still be connected while having enough give to make up the movement. Does anybody have any questions on this slide? Because that is quite a bit of information. Does it make sense for everyone? Or does anybody have any questions?
It makes sense, sir.
Thank you, Sashwin. Rahul, did you have something to say? I saw your screen light up there.
No, sir.
Okay, no worries. I'll just get you to pop on mute. Do you know how to mute yourself, Rahul, on Zoom?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Ritishan, I see your hand up. Yes?
Actually, what does the humerus means?
Oh, that's a type of bone. It's a type of bone. So all the different bones in your body, they have different names, and the humerus is the name for this specific bone. So similar to that one, you can see with muscles as well. Each different muscle has a different name in the human body. So the ones in this section are the biceps. So this part here. Does anybody else have any other questions?
No, sir. It's clear.
Thank you, Sashwin. Satvika, did you have something? Oh, no? Did you say? Sorry, I saw it light up. Okay, no problem. So I'll go on to the next one. Now, bones and joints cannot produce movement on their own. The muscles that encase the bones and the joints are what provide the ability for that movement, and that's referred to as locomotion. So that term locomotion refers to the movement that the muscles produce, allowing the bones and the joints to move within the body. Now, as we just went through in the previous slide, the muscles are attached to the different bones through these tendons, okay? So that's what helps keep the different parts of the body still attached while allowing movement without it being totally constricted, right? Because if you can imagine, if all the bones are connected together as one, you're just stuck in the one place. You can't move. So by having the joints to allow for the movement, the tendons allow us to be connected as whole, right? While still facilitating that movement. Now, the skeleton and muscles, as we discussed, are all required to provide that locomotion. Now, when the muscle contracts, it pulls on the tendon, which in turn pulls on the bone. So in the last slide, it was saying the muscles connect to the bones through the tendons. So as the muscle contracts and it gets pulled forward, it then pulls the attached tendon, which is then connected to the following bone, which then in turn brings the full range of motion into effect. You guys can give it a go. So if you just have your arms out for me, and as I was doing, if you just do that, you'll feel your basically the bicep muscle start to pull on the tendon, which then brings your forearm bones back up closer towards you. Does that make sense for everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
It makes
Perfect.
sense.
Thank you,
Really.
guys. Awesome.
I
Okay.
feel it, sir.
Perfect. And everybody did feel that? Yes? Looks good. I saw everybody doing the action. Yep, head nods. Awesome. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So,
Feeling it.
good. Now, as we basically discussed, like it's wrapping everything together. The skeletal and the muscular systems all need to work together to facilitate movement and allow us to do all the actions that we do on a daily basis. Without one system working with the other, the movement won't happen. Now, just before we go on to the next topic, does everyone want to just do a quick stretch? If you're just sitting in your seats there, if you want to stand up, it's been about 40 minutes. So if you want to just do a quick wave, all right, move around, make sure you're not getting any pins and needles anywhere on your legs or arms, okay? All right, easy. Now, drugs as medicines. Does anyone know what is a drug? Sorry, gave away the answer there. Does anyone know how you could explain or define a drug?
This drug is almost like a bottle, but it's glass. It's glass. It's almost like bottle, but it's made of glass.
Close, not so much so. Referring, because drugs can come in any very different shapes and forms, right? They can be in a liquid, it can be in a solid, it can be in a powder. So not necessarily the container that they come in, but drugs in general. So I guess an overarching explanation would be that drugs are any substance other than food that cause changes in the body, right? So it can be your medicines. There's explicit substances as well. Okay. But they're basically any substance that causes changes in the body. That's what you refer to as a drug.
Okay.
As we were just talking about, the drugs come in many forms. So they can be liquids, solids, powders. So in turn, there's different ways that they can be taken into the body. So they can be swallowed, they can be breathed in, injected, and such. There are three main groups of drugs. There's your prescription drugs, which you can get from a doctor or a pharmacy. There's over-the-counter drugs, which, again, you can get from the pharmacy, but you don't need a doctor's approval or recommendation. And then there's prohibited drugs, ones that are illegal and have very negative effects on the body itself. Before I move on to the next slide, I just want to clarify that everybody understands these 3 points. If you don't, please put your hand up for me on Zoom and I can go through it again. So there's 3 types. You've got your prescription, your over-the-counter, and your prohibited. Does anyone need any clarification on those? Sashwin, I can see your hand. Yes?
What is the first one that you told?
Yes. Okay, perfect. Thanks for asking. So prescription, if you haven't heard of the word, basically means that it's been assigned for you by a health professional, by a doctor. So you've gone and seen the doctor. He's asked about your sickness. He's assessed you. And in their professional opinion, they've said, okay, this specific drug will be what can be used to help you recover and help you fix the illness. Now, these are referred to as prescription drugs because generally they are of quite a high dosage. So their effect, if not taken carefully, can also be very bad for the human body, right? So they require, so you can't just go to a pharmacy and say, hey, I want this, because it needs to be specifically assessed and recommended to you by a doctor. That's the only way you can get that specific group of drugs.
Okay, sir. Thank you for
Does that make
explaining
sense?
it.
No
Yes,
problem.
sir, it makes sense. Now I understand.
No worries. Okay. Next one. So look, overall, whether it's a prescription, whether it's over the counter, or whether it's prohibited, drugs in general are quite dangerous. Those that are bought in pharmacies and chemists have important, very, very important information on the packaging to protect people from harm. That can be information about ingredients, dosage, and the relevant dosage for different ages as well. So a child will have a different dosage compared to an adult because the quantity of the drug that the human body can take at the different sizes varies, right? And at times when you're an adult and you're older and you're a bigger structure, you might need more of the same drug to get a similar effect. There are a few things we need to follow when we're using drugs. And as I said, one of those main ones is instructions about dosage, the age of the patient. So like I was saying, a child will have very specific needs versus an adult. And then warnings about any side effects. Who here knows what a side effect is?
It's an effect which
It's almost
Hold on, Ritishan and Sashwin, if you can put your hand up on Zoom for me, please. Yes, Ritishan, I can see your hand. Yeah.
side effect is actually something like if you beat someone, they'll cry. The crying action is the side effect.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, before I continue on with that one and expand, Sashwin, you want to say something?
he already says the same.
No problem, no problem. You were too quick to take it off. I didn't see you. So a side effect, guys, is basically any reaction in the human body that could result from taking the drug aside from the intended reaction, right? So say, for example, you take Panadol to help, relieve a headache, but a side effect for some people may be that it makes their stomach feel a bit sick. So that's the unintended reaction from taking the Panadol. The Panadol was taken to help fix a headache, for example, but the side effect was that it made their stomach sick. Now, this is a very important point, that taking more of a drug doesn't mean that you're going to get a greater benefit. If you take beyond the recommended amount and beyond the dosage prescribed to you by the doctor, by the pharmacy, or on the actual label, that can result in very, very serious damage, or to be honest, at the end of the day, even death, right? So you need to be very careful when taking drugs that you follow the specific instructions given to you. Children in general, right? So the younger you are, the higher the danger is because your body is smaller, right? So kids and children have a smaller body, smaller weight, smaller muscles, their organs aren't developed. So if you have a very high dosage of certain drugs, that will have a greater impact on them as well. Now, prescription and over-the-counter drugs. So we talked about 3 different categories: prescription, over-the-counter, and prohibited. Out of these 3 categories, 2 of them, which is prescription and over-the-counter, have many benefits. For example, they can cure diseases. They can kill organisms that invade our bodies. They can take away symptoms without necessarily killing the virus. Now, for example, this includes sneezing or coughing from a flu infection, right? So although you might take the drug to help reduce the reaction that your body is having, it might not necessarily kill the infection, but at least you're stopping the sneezing and the coughing, although the flu might still be inside. And then they can also prevent us from being infected and give protection from diseases as well. So they can be used as a preventative measure. So that covers the main things I wanted to go through for today. Does anyone know, or have you ever used something called Kahoot?
Sir, I know.
Yes?
I never used Kahoot, but I heard of it.
Okay, awesome. What have you heard about it, Satvika?
It's like they ask a question and they will give answer. When we select the answer, they'll put higher number and lowest number who picked the answers.
Yes, exactly right. So basically, it's like a game with a few questions, and every time you answer the question correctly, you get points, and whoever answers the questions fastest and gets them right gets bonus points. So I'm gonna ask you guys, while you have, and I know this is the first time we're doing it, so it might take a little bit of time to get right, but can you do me a favor, guys, and on your devices, type in this website in your browser. So whether it's Google Chrome, Safari, Internet Explorer, if you can type in www.kahoot.it and press enter.
No, sir.
Yes, now please. Without leaving the Zoom meeting. So you can just open it as a different tab.
Okay, sir, I done.
Okay, thank you, Satvika. So on your screen, you should see, right, Satvika, a section which says, please enter game PIN or something along those lines.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. So I'll just wait for everybody to get to the same page. If you guys can just on Zoom, if you can put your hand up for me so I know once you're on that page. Perfect. So now in that section where it asks for game PIN, can you please put this 7-digit code for me? 6466680. So this one. I'm not sure if you can see it when you're on the app, so I'll say it out again. It's 6466680.
Okay, sir, I'm done.
Thank you. Now I'm gonna stop sharing my screen just for a second. Has everybody got that code and is able to put it in, or does anybody still need the code?
Wait, sir.
Screen.
Wait, sir. Wait.
Okay. I'll give you a few minutes. No problem. Yes, I can see you. Come on. So well done. All right. So everybody's here now. I'm gonna start the game. Okay. So please look at the Kahoot page. It will show you a question. And then after the question is open for about a few seconds, it will give you some answers. So like I said, the person who gets the right answer will get points. And if you're the quickest in getting the right answer, you will get even bonus points. Okay. So I'm going to start the game. Pay attention to the Kahoot page. All right. Okay. So there we go. So the question here was, which animal has an internal skeleton? 4 of you guys got that right, which is a frog. And then we had a couple of guesses. One was worm and the other one was jellyfish. Unfortunately, both of those have no internal skeleton. All right. Let's see who's at the top for now. Loka, well done, leading it. So you answered the question first. You got the highest points, followed by Ritishan, Sashwin, and then Dinishan. All right, next one. Yes. correct. So we went through this one. The turtle has both internal and external. So it's got the shell, which is the external, and then it also has a bony structure like humans, which is internal. Let's see the scoreboard. Ooh, few people climbing. There we go. Loka still holding first place. Question number 4. Ooh, well done. Most people got this one right. It is 206. Let's see the scoreboard. Loka still coming in first. Sarwin and Dinushan coming into the top 5. All right. Question number 5. Well done, guys. Well done. Most of you guys got this one right. It is bones, muscles, and joints. Let's see what's... Ooh, look at that. Sashwin coming into second. Loka's got a winning streak. 3 correct answers in a row. Let's go. Next one. Well done, guys. Another good one. Everybody got this one right. Well done. Good to see it. Nice. No change to the leaderboard there. Nice. Majority of you got this one. Everybody was listening. Well done. Yes, it is vertebrae. There were a couple of tricky answers there, vertical cord and vertical bones, but most of you got that one. Sarwin, well done. And Prunta as well, coming up. Ooh, okay, here we go. Still majority of the class getting this one right. Let's see how we're going. Oh, Sashwin's taking the lead. Ritishan coming in for second place. 2 more questions to go, guys. Well done. 2. Who was the person who got that one right? Let's have a look. Sarwin, well done, mate. It's the marrow actually makes red blood cells, not white blood cells. So that was a bit of a tricky question. All right, last question. There we go. All righty. Let's see the final leaderboard. 3rd place, Loka, well done. Coming in 3rd place. 2nd is Sarwin. Nice. And 1st place, Sashwin. Well done, mate. Well done. Nicely done. And then we have our 2 runners up, Ritishan and Prunta. All right. Well done, guys. You can close the Kahoot app now. That was that one. So I'll get you guys just to put your hand up if you have any feedback. What did you think of the Kahoot game? Did you like it? Was it boring? Was it fun?
I like
It was a fun game, sir.
It was
I
fun.
really
I'll get you.
loved it.
Sorry. Hold on. Sorry, I'll get you to put your hand up on Zoom for me, and then I'll call your name. Okay? Joshua, I see your hand up.
It was a really fun game, sir. I really
Really fun?
loved
Okay.
it.
Good. Satvika?
It was an amazing game, actually.
Okay, cool. You like it. Princika?
It's a fun game and I
Okay, it's fun. All right. So you guys would like to keep doing them in the future classes?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
I
sir.
want
We
to
would love
play
to.
it again.
Okay, cool. I'll keep making those then. All right, sounds good, guys. Well, that takes this class to a wrap. Sorry, Ritishan, I see your hand. Yeah.
Actually, I want to ask how to make the last time you say the game pin. Yeah, how to do that?
Sorry, can you ask it for me again? Sorry, Ritishan, I didn't hear you.
Last time, just now you showed us the game pin.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did you create that?
Yes, I made that one based off the content we covered in the class. So before the class, I made that specific Kahoot itself. But I think I think I know where you're going with the question. Is there other Kahoots that you can do that's, you know, just for fun? Is that what you mean?
No, sir. I just want to make one. I'm curious about it.
You want to make one? Okay, I can send you the instructions. I'll put it in the WhatsApp on how you can go
Me too,
through
sir.
and make your own and also do other ones that are created. I'll see if I can find out for you.
Sir, you send me.
Sarwin, sorry, I didn't hear you. Can you go again?
Can you send me too, sir?
I will. I'll put it in our WhatsApp so everyone can see it. Okay. But thank you. Next time, everyone will know how to access the Kahoot and we'll be good. A bit quicker next time.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
All right. Thanks, guys. That takes
Okay,
us
sir.
for a
Bye,
wrap. All right.
sir.
Bye, sir.
Bye, sir.
Thank you. See you guys.
Bye, sir.